Do you reckon that was picked up by the mic?
It's recording.
Oh, shit. Sorry, listeners,
Yeah.
for that absolutely horrendous burp I just did.
I'll have to decide whether or not to edit that one out.
Dear.
Well, we're rolling. Finally.
We're rolling.
Finally back.
The boys are back in town. Huh?
Jesus Christ, that took a while.
Fucking hell. It's been a rough few weeks.
I think it was meant to be a 2-week hiatus, and it might be...
It must be 4 weeks.
well over a month, yeah.
Yeah, 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks, something like that there. I mean, crazy stuff altogether, Tom. Life, eh?
Been busy.
Am I right? Things have kicked off. You were away flying.
Yeah, well, we were meant to start when I came back, and then... I mean, you did something that I really admired. You did a really retro move. You got COVID.
I got COVID, yes, I did.
Yeah, you got COVID in 2023.
2023, baby. COVID's still around, apparently.
Yeah.
Even if you've got 3 fucking vaccinations and already had COVID before, watch out for it, baby, because you can still get it.
George Soros, man.
Well, Soros is a lot to fucking answer for.
Yeah, he got you good.
He got me again.
But it is cool, like getting a disease from 2019.
1, 2,
3, 4 years later?
4 years later, man.
Yeah, that is cool.
But let's address the elephant in the room. You've also recently had COVID.
Well, yeah, because whenever you do something, I have to do it as well.
Yeah.
Because I have no personality of my own. I'm just an amalgamation of all my best friends' best bits, and I put them together in my head to create the illusion of being. But inside, I'm completely clean.
And then sometimes you like to take a little bit of Ryan Reynolds from Drive. Is it Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Am I getting the wrong guy? Who's the guy in Drive?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling.
Gosling. Yeah. I always get Reynolds and Gosling mixed up.
They're pretty much the same.
Ryan Gosling in Drive.
Yeah. Put that on there.
You like to look at yourself in the mirror sometimes and go, I'm like him.
Right, that film Drive is pretty much the story of a woman who lives next door to an autistic man. Like, that's all it is. Yeah, that's all it is. And it's just a deluded fantasy about what he must be like. Because I think, like, when autistic people get old enough, that's how they must come across if you don't realize what they're like.
Yes.
Because, like, the reality is, like, she's going into her flat, she sees him down the road, and she's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going for a drive.
Especially
and then, like,
if you're a handsome autistic person.
Exactly, because they exist. They do exist.
I mean, there's one looking at me right now.
But the truth is, like, because in the film, like, she goes for a drive with him.
Yes.
And he takes her and her son to, like, the LA River.
Yeah.
And they go and look at cool stuff. But the reality is, like, they go to the LA River and she just watches him, like, splash in the water for 45 minutes and then, like, has to walk home herself because he forgets that she's there.
Well, this is it, yeah. But not that movie is wild. I only just caught up with that movie recently.
It's
Speaking
cool.
of, like, getting retro shit and all.
I liked
only
it.
Watched it recently.
And then the next film that guy did, it's called, like, Only God Forgives, and it was just shite.
Pish.
Yeah.
Drive was good, though.
Yeah. Well, it's based on a book, and that's why it's good.
See, things that are based in a book tends to be strong.
So I thought the fella had written it, but he hadn't.
Yeah. So anyway, listen, we went off on a tangent there.
Yeah, sorry. So I have COVID, or I've just had COVID.
I'd say you're over it. Like.
Yeah,
you're over
I think I had COVID, and then I had something else, and that's what I've got now. I've had a menu del dia of sickness in the last few weeks.
A chef's platter of sickness,
all over the place, and had the full experience. I mean,
yes,
having the fever dreams, as we've talked about before.
Wow.
Well, here's something I think we can bring up. Maybe we should lean more into this, the medical advice segments that we do.
Well, Tom, as you know, I do have a medical degree.
Yes, you do. You had some medical advice for me about my sickness, didn't you? Or you had a diagnosis, were you mentioning before?
Well, listen, Tom, I don't have my stethoscope, right? But from listening to your cough over the past, I would say, how long have I been here? 20 minutes, 25 minutes? I've looked at you, I've seen you sniffing, I've seen you snorting the old Sudafed, or whatever the fuck that is you've been putting up your nose.
Yeah, Sudafed.
I hope it's nothing illegal. And I think you've got a classic case, my friend. You've got the flux.
The flux.
You've got the flux, baby.
Oh, you're a 17th century barber.
The flux is back. It's back big time.
The flux. Okay.
And it's doing the rounds. You've got the flux and a tiny bit of chlamydia, I would say.
Well,
although it's symptomless chlamydia, right?
It depends.
Depends
if you get a bad batch or a viral load, high viral load.
But no, you're a flux candidate.
Yeah, I can believe the flux.
100%. And some of the diseases you probably have in your body, John. I mean, you're a disgusting person.
Haven't been seen by medical science in hundreds of years. Some of the things I got batting around me, yeah. Like if I had AIDS, it wouldn't be in the top 100 things killing me right now. Like, there's so many other problems going on inside.
This is it. But I tell you what, you're sounding chirpier.
Yeah.
You sent me a voice message on, well, I think it was Monday or what day? It was
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And you sounded awful, mate.
Yeah.
I have never heard you sound as bad.
What I was doing was this medical procedure I invented, which the rationale behind it is sound.
Go on.
It's time for a podcast highlight.
So basically, I think the problem with medical science is that it lacks innovation. People are afraid to innovate and try new ideas out in medical science. And as a result, we don't really step forward. We just keep doing the same things over and over again because they get results.
I hear you. Okay.
So I decided to innovate and apply a science-based approach. Why is your nose blocked when you have the flux, as we suspect I now have? Well, did you know it's not blocked because there's stuff up there?
Yes.
It's blocked because up there's like a little hole that can close itself and open itself.
Right.
And what happens?
Like a little sphincter.
Like a little sphincter at the top of your nose. Two of them on each side. And what happens is they close. Because you know sometimes you blow your nose and a little bit comes out, but it's still stuffy.
Oh, I hear you.
That's because the sphincter at the top of your nose is closed.
Okay.
Now, why is it closed?
Well, this is the question I'm asking myself.
So why do you close the door at night? To stop bad things coming in.
Stop the bad boys coming.
Stop bad boys coming in. And that's what your nose is doing. It's detecting too much carbon dioxide up there. Because all the flux bacteria up here, they're breathing. And they're breathing out carbon dioxide.
Okay. So
then your nose is detecting the carbon dioxide and be like, nah, there's something wrong outside. There's too much carbon dioxide. Let's close the door.
Jesus,
so, yeah. See? We've applied science.
You've me convinced. How do I invest?
Well, here's the thing. What we now need to do is either A, convince the nose it's a high oxygen environment by releasing pure oxygen up in our nose. We can't do that.
We don't have the means or the technology.
What would be better is to get rid of the flux viruses
that are up there
and causing the spike in carbon dioxide. Now, how do you kill small things?
You give them a good bashing.
You can give them a good bashing if you have a few.
Yeah.
But what do you do? Like, for example, you've got a bag of kittens that you just don't want anymore. Where do you throw them?
It's an old farming method.
Yeah, you throw them in the sea. So what you have to do, now that we've applied a science-based approach, the answer is perfectly obvious.
We don't condone any of that nonsense.
No, unless you have got the flux.
It's an example.
We use the science-based approach to come up with a perfectly viable method. We have to recreate a marine environment in the back of my nose. And that's what I did.
Did you submerge?
It's a large syringe. I'll go get it for you.
A large syringe?
It's a large syringe that I use for turkey basting. And like when I cook chicken for Sunday roasts.
Yes. Do you baste the chicken, do you?
Well, I put this inside it and then I inject a mixture of like oil, salts, aromatics behind the lemons. So I took this and I filled it with water and salt.
You're one wacky bastard, you know that? Please continue. Sorry.
I've performed this procedure multiple times while I've been ill. Michael, as I'm telling you this, I'm beginning to think the reason I've been ill for a week and a half. Yes. I might not have been ill. It might have just been this. Sorry, you've got now the diseased water on you.
Jesus.
This might be why this illness has lasted so long, because I've been injecting salt water. Okay. I make the ocean water myself using tap water and marine salt. You can use any salt you want for this procedure, by the way.
Yes, okay.
Himalayan,
don't be fussy about the salt.
Kosher, rock salt.
You're naming salts.
You can maybe use have you ever made garlic salt or chili salt, where you cut the chilies up and you put them in salt and the salt absorbs the flavor?
I've never made it, but I love the sound of it.
Yeah. So she's been making garlic salt recently. You get the garlic cloves, you chop them up, and then you sprinkle them in salt, and then you just put it in a pot, and the salt absorbs the garlic, and it makes everything taste delicious.
It sounds lovely, but come here, you're not putting that up your nose, surely.
I'm just wondering if that have any antiseptic properties.
Well, it might, but it also might make you bleed out your fucking eyes.
Yeah, well, this is one of the things that happens. Like, you have to inject the whole thing up there.
There's no half measures.
No, because I looked at a diagram of the inside of your head, and did you know in your nose there's like cavities?
Oh
like
yeah,
here.
there's a bit of a hole back there.
You have to flood every single one of them with salt water
to get rid of
the badness, to drown the tiny kitten virus things.
So I hear you now. So
yeah,
to reflect, back to the kitten thing. We're looking to drown these organisms that are living in your nose.
In salt water, yeah.
In salt water.
Yes.
Okay. And we're having varying degrees of success with this, or you've been having varying degrees of success with
this. Well, I think there's probably like bits of chicken and oil in here as well that were also getting injected into my nose.
It could be counteracting your efforts if you got too much chicken, I don't know, chicken skin or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, well, I thought maybe like the salt water would be like sterile, but then like maybe the chicken's unsterile in the other direction. It's like having an acid and an alkali, isn't it? Like
it is.
There's no point putting like a little bit of vinegar in bleach because it's still really bleachy.
I hear you, man.
Do you know what I mean? Like maybe the filthy chicken bacteria isn't getting counteracted by the homemade ocean.
I hear you.
Right, but anyway, so you inject it up and it really does feel like drowning.
Okay.
But you breathe through your mouth and like, it's working when you start crying salt water. And you do it, and then what will happen after about 5-10 minutes? Like, you can't inject it too fast, otherwise, like it can hurt. You get a nosebleed. But after like 5 or 10 minutes, comes out the other side. Wow. So you inject the water in this, and it does the whole circuit. Comes out the other side.
Okay.
With all sorts of gunk.
All sorts of nasty things.
Things you haven't seen in years.
Seriously?
Yeah. You ever put bits of Lego? Yeah. Spare change.
Jesus.
Birth certificate.
When you think of some of the things put up your nose, like
yeah.
Let's not go down that road. But anyway,
So anyway, that was my medical procedure, and I'm not sure if it made the situation better or worse. But
come here, Tom. By Jesus, you are a medical marvel. There's no two ways about it, Tom.
Yeah.
And like your varying ailments and your self-diagnosis and how do you say diagnosis is? Is that the plural of diagnosis? Diagnoses, self-diagnoses, your little home remedies. I mean, you're a regular jack of all trades when it comes to the medical world.
I'm like Louis Pasteur, the guy who invented needles.
You're a savant of medical advice.
Because he injected him, didn't he infect himself with smallpox? And then, he might have infected the kid who worked for him with smallpox and injected them with his
lab boy.
Yeah, with his invention, and it was the first vaccine.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me.
Well, Tom, you're a pioneer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And it was fun.
Yeah, and I think you're on the mend.
I'm feeling much better now.
If you if we contrast your voice on Sunday and your voice now, night and day.
Yeah, I mean, I did stop performing the procedure on Monday night as well, and I have started feeling better since then. So it's possible.
There might be something to it.
Yeah, well, I think further examination is required. I'll have to run the tests again sometime.
Yeah, it needs to be peer reviewed. There's a lot of steps still to go through here.
Yeah, I need to write a peer-reviewed journal.
Yeah.
Dear Health and Medicine, I have been injecting seawater and moldy chicken. It's Tom. Dear Health and Medicine, I'm back. Just written on the back of a napkin.
Oh, great, man. Great stuff. It's all great stuff.
Yeah.
But come here, it's great to be back doing the pod.
It is good. I've missed doing it.
It's been fantastic. It's been great to be back because it's been a rocky few weeks.
You know what? We were just starting to take off as well before I left.
We were, man. We were getting good numbers.
Yeah.
The little shorts you were making were one of them. We did really well.
We've got 1,000 views on. We've received comments and things from people.
Yeah, people.
I received a message from our first incel listener. You know who you are. Clicked on his profile to see I like to check what our subscribers are all about. And
what's his game?
He follows us and just loads of Andrew Tate profiles. And so, yeah.
Okay.
We need. I'll work on the algorithm and see if I can cultivate a more refined audience. Hopefully, we'll get the medical audience now.
Listen, beggars can't be choosers.
Yes.
We'll take what we can get.
Okay, yeah.
We're feeding off the table.
We'll do anything. At the
Andrew
moment,
Tate's
just
crumbs on his table.
We will do absolutely anything for
Oh
views.
dear. Well, yeah, no, this is it, and we had a good bit of momentum going,
Mm.
but obviously we only intended to take like a 2-week break.
Yeah.
But then I got sick, and then things were contriving themselves against us. Basically,
real string of bad luck.
String of bad luck as
Yes.
regards the pod, and like just we had people visiting, just things that were getting in the way.
Yeah.
You know? And like this past 2 weeks, we talked about it before the pod. We're not going to bore the people with it, like, but we've had some stressful times as regards work professionally.
Yes,
stuff like
the
this,
professional,
right?
professional
In the
scene.
professional sphere. But now, look, we're at the other end.
Yeah.
And we've got our sexy little merch.
We have merch now. You
Yeah,
can't buy it.
You
though,
can't
yeah.
buy it.
No.
Though. It's
There's
very exclusive.
There's been a misunderstanding of the merch, merch flow.
Listen, you know what I always say.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
The merch will catch on.
The merch will catch. Everything will catch up.
This
the
is
merch will come.
A prototype.
The merch will come with the viewers, Michael. I think.
When we get viewers, when we get some fucking viewers, by Jesus, we're gonna have merch.
We'll have some good merch.
You better believe it, boy. But anyway, listen. We have things to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Tom.
Yes.
You've been traveling. People want to hear travel stories. People are into I'm into travel YouTube. I'm a big travel YouTube guy, and I think it's something we should take ourselves down at some point. We should be little, like, there's no reason. We live in a very sought after tourist spot here in this part of the world, and we've been talking about this before, doing a little tour, going to certain places, sampling the crack, and this is something we're talking about. And hit us up if you'd like Tom and Michael's little reviews or days out as regards content.
That would be fucking great.
Fucking give us a shout and we'll do it. But back to the question. I went off on a tangent.
Oh no, I'm on that tangent now. I might not listen to the question. That's a really cool idea. We should do just go historical sites around here, or we could take a day trip to Girona.
I'm thinking I could stick a wee cam on myself, or you stick a cam on you, or we'll swap between us.
Well, like the train guy on TikTok, like just you though, not me, only you.
Okay, well, no. We've got to do it together.
It's better if it's you.
We little days out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it's a lot of editing. I know it's a lot of work for you, but like we could fucking something to be. There's something in it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, New York City, baby. The Big Apple.
Yeah.
How was it?
Man, like, there's a strong argument to be made that New York City is the capital of humanity.
Oh,
it's really fucking cool.
Okay.
It's great. Like, it's massive.
Mm-hmm.
Really big. Everything's huge.
Insanely big.
But, like, it was incredible. I loved it. I'd love to live there at some point if the rent wasn't like $5,000 a month for an area this big with no toilet.
Astronomical.
Yeah, I was looking at like the estate agent stuff, and it's mental. But they all make a lot of money out there as well.
Yeah. Okay. So the wages are pretty high.
Yeah, and they're all always making money. Do you know what I mean? There's even on like a Friday night at like sort of like coming up to midnight, there's just no one really going out. Like, there's obviously people like tourists going to party.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find like where the locals are, and they're always talking about work. And then like we took a bus out into the countryside, and everyone was sitting there with Wi-Fi on the bus, doing work on the bus, but doing like business. And they're all running like shitty like social media management schemes and like agencies and stuff like that. And it's But yeah, no, it's cool. The only downside would be the homeless people, and like
the homeless.
I'm not saying it as like someone who doesn't like them. I'm saying like it's a genuine problem out there.
Oh yeah, well, I've heard
the homeless situation in America is beyond out of control.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. The social safety net is just
there isn't one.
Yeah, non-existent.
So like, well, I know people who struggled with mental health and had to be medicated and stuff before.
Yeah,
and they've said to me before like they've been a bit weird, and then they'll come back like the next week and be like, yeah man, like my medication wasn't really working. So I'll be like, oh, that's what happens when you're not medicated. I'm like, no, that they were still okay. Like non-medicated bad mental health is in New York, where there are geezers like having full-on conversations with someone who's not there and getting in fights with them.
Okay.
And you see a lot of that. And it is just people who've,
sounds like me after
Yeah,
one too many tequilas. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, but they are like that,
Yeah.
but you can separate like the ones who are mental from the ones who are like on crack, and then there's also just there's like the heroin junkie.
It's just a different level.
I think I mentioned it to you before. It reminds me of a video game RPG.
Okay, yeah.
But in an RPG, you have NPCs. Like in Grand Theft Auto, you have the people walking around.
The poor people who you run over in the car.
But that's us.
Okay. They're playing a fucking game.
They are the players. The homeless people in New York City are the players. And just like a real RPG, like Skyrim or something, at the beginning of the game, you pick a class. Like, do you want to be an archer, a magician,
an elf
a warrior, an elf, a cat? And like they pick a class. Like, do you want to be schizophrenic?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a heroin junkie? Do you want to be someone who lost their leg in a war and now can't afford a house? And like all the different classes are different, like stats and stuff. Like heroin junkies are +5 resistance to frost. They just don't feel the cold. Yeah. Look, seriously, they were just like standing there, like nodding out, like on the trains, and they're not feeling a thing. But they're cold. They just don't notice it. Whereas, like the mentally ill people get cold.
Yeah.
But
sorry, I was going to make a stupid joke. It doesn't matter.
The mentally ill people, the coolest ones. Like that's my other big observation that I learned in America. As far as I can tell, crystal meth just makes you a better human being.
Oh,
like
hot take alert.
There's I mean, they were all homeless, so I guess it kind of fulfills your priority sector, so it's hard to do anything else.
Yes.
But they're standing there in pajamas and a t-shirt in -15 degrees Celsius, not even shivering.
Man, I'm telling you, Wim Hof. He's a lucky answer for it.
Well, you can pay for his shitty course, or you can get yourself a rock of crystal meth, as far as I can tell.
Yes.
Like, they're not even shivering. They're talking very fast.
Yes.
But they're not, like, talking bullshit. They're just talking, having a normal conversation at 3 times the speed. And it's your responsibility to keep up.
Yeah, if you're not fucking sharp enough, you know.
Yeah, and they'll leave you behind, and they will keep having the conversation with you.
So,
they are just getting things done. They are out there.
Yeah.
They have tasks. They're pushing their shopping trolley full of tin.
Well.
And like they're getting all the tin.
Yeah.
They're on a quest, a video game quest. You must collect 50 tins.
Yes.
And they're going to do it. Like it does make you better. It's really hard to see the flaw in it, apart from everyone who I saw who was on it was homeless. Okay. And wearing their underwear outside their trousers.
But there you go, huh?
Yeah, so that's
there's positives and negatives to everything, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day.
Well, we should move the Breakfast Beers podcast to New York as soon as we can. And
a loft in New York, huh?
Yeah. It's a big
boys.
jump.
Do you reckon our respective partners would go for that, as well as all the other shit?
I don't know. Sharing a bunk bed on top of the Empire State Building in a tent. That's where we'll live.
Fucking hell.
I made a few observations as well.
Oh, Tom's observations.
Let me see where I made them. Did I text them to you?
It's time for a podcast highlight.
Yeah, this might be a real low light. Oh wait, it's going to be in our shared document.
Get the shared document up.
Let me get the shared document. Breakfast Beers Dream Board.
I need to figure out how to access that shared document. I don't know if you've noticed this, Tom, but I'm not exactly a tech whiz.
No, I picked that up. I still remember the time we did a whole podcast and you didn't turn your microphone on.
I'm on the biscuits now.
Okay, try not to chew too loudly onto the microphone.
Get the mic away.
Here are some observations about New York. There are no babies in New York.
No babies.
Didn't see a single one on the island of Manhattan. But I saw more than one woman pushing around a pram with nothing in it. But there's no babies. I saw a baby in Brooklyn, but they were sitting, being the family with the baby, were sitting on a table opposite us when we were having brunch. 16 oysters. Very good. And the people who had the baby were visiting.
Ah, they were outsiders.
Yeah, there are no babies in New York.
You were doing baby watch.
I was looking, after a while you start to notice when something's missing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Like, what's wrong with this picture?
It's
Something's
like,
not right. Yeah.
Do you know what it was? It was like when you can't hear the dog.
I hear you.
And you know the dog's up to something. You know the dog's in the bin.
He's up. What the fuck's going on with him? You know, he's got his nose in the fucking bin.
Again. Yeah, exactly. You know something bad's happening.
And
that's what happened to me about day 2, walking around Manhattan.
No babies.
No babies. And I couldn't. Took me a while to put my finger on it. And around lunchtime, I was like, "How the fuck about? Where are all the babies?"
Where the fuck are they?
And then you start to see it everywhere you look. It's young people, all the symptoms of having babies. Indeed, some people pushing a pram. Now, the pram people may have been the aforementioned meth addicts.
Okay, yes. They do look like they like a good pram.
Yeah, maybe they were using it to carry things for their quests.
Yes.
But yeah, there were no babies. New Yorkers aren't unfriendly. They just don't smile when they talk.
Okay.
Everyone goes on about how New Yorkers are like unfriendly, but you realize then that's Americans saying that, and Americans are brutally friendly. And all like when we got there, like I was trying to figure out the subway map at like 2 a.m. to get to a hotel. I was dead tired, and a guard walks past, and I'm like, "Am I going to ask him?" He looks pissed off, and he just goes to me, "Where are you going?"
Oof.
I was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get to our hotel. It's here." He's like, "You need to cross, go over there, get the second train. You'll be there in half an hour." And then he just stalked off. I was like, "Okay, thank you." Like,
Efficient friendliness.
yeah, he's just really, really nice. He just didn't smile when he said it, which
Fair
I
enough.
like. Point number 3, street labeling in New York.
Street labeling.
Yeah, so going north to south, it's the avenues.
It's all like fucking straight lines, isn't it?
Yeah, north to south roads are all avenues.
Right.
Starting on the left, 1st Avenue, 2nd Avenue, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And from top to bottom, going east to west, 1st Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, 4th Street, 5th Street.
Yeah.
New York was built by an autistic person.
You could be onto something there,
Yeah,
boy.
it's perfectly logical.
An undiagnosed autist.
It's great. Yeah, I loved it so much. Like within a day of being there, I'd figured out how to get around the city. It's so cool because you just
I
look
can
at
imagine you loving that
Yeah,
so much. Yeah.
like she'd just be like, "Oh, we're going to this place. It's on 54th and 3rd," and in my head, it's just like, "Bing!" I can see where it is.
Sorry to digress,
Mm.
but have you ever seen videos of that fella who goes on Google Earth and just knows what country
Yeah,
it is?
yeah.
Yeah, great. He's fucking priceless, this guy.
We told you
He's
about
a genius.
when we did that with my dad, because my dad's a bit like that.
Is he?
And he's like a professor of geography.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And we were doing that game GeoGuessr at Christmas on the big TV. My brother's doing it from his phone, and my dad's like asleep on the sofa. Like we're trying to figure out where we are. And it's like, if we can't do it, just wake up, Dad.
Yeah.
After a while, we couldn't figure out where this place was. Just woke up my dad, and he looks at it and he just goes, "Kazakhstan." Just falls back to sleep, and it was in fucking Kazakhstan.
Jesus, huh? Never played a big game.
Anything else here?
Next observation.
I say I wrote, "Pronounce the H in herbs, you fucking weirdos." But that's not really an observation. I think I was just getting angry about something there.
To be fair, that does irritate me a wee bit as well.
Oh, this is going back to the homeless situation. There's lots of like amazing engineering, like the skyscrapers, the bridges,
Of course.
just the subway system. But the most amazing feat of engineering in New York is the social engineering that's gone into agreeing not to talk about the homeless situation.
Yeah.
Like they don't address it, and like you will have a guy masturbating on the subway, and all the locals are just like staring straight forward, not looking.
Oh dear. I guess they
just don't talk about it or acknowledge it or look at it.
Desensitized, I suppose, to the madness of it. If it's not there if I don't look. Kind of way.
Like this guy was masturbating. He got off, and then I wrote here the next observation.
You actually saw this?
Yeah.
The fella had the plums out.
A 40-year-old woman who was like obviously a local sitting on the train. There was like seats free, and everyone who came on like walked towards me and goes, "Don't sit there. That's not spit. That's semen."
Oh God. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, that's not subway semen.
Yeah, it was terrible. Distinct lack of bars per square kilometer. No standard beer.
No red standard.
Yeah, like every time you go in a place, it's like, "Well, we've got this hoppy, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, give me the most amount of alcohol for the least amount of money.
Please, sir.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Strong. Oh, yeah. New subspecies of human, the kind of people who go to Madame Tussauds.
Okay. So people that go to Madame Tussauds and pose with pictures.
No, I went there because we had it included in our ticket.
Yeah.
And the other people who were there, I've never seen that kind of person before.
No,
really weird.
Are they too? What are you thinking here? Too cheery?
No, it's just a weird thing to do. Like, do you want to go stand in a room full of plastic models of people we see on the TV?
It is kind of weird when you think about it, isn't it? I feel like that's a real time killer activity when you've got, like, your flight is in the evening, you're still in the city, and you're like, well, we could go to the fucking wax museum for
Mhm.
an hour, that kind of way.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I think that's the crack is with that
I've got a
thing.
few more here, which are quite insightful, and I forgot I wrote them.
Oh, insightful.
In my opinion. People going to famous galleries and taking pictures of the famous paintings just to upload them to the internet is like a weird virus breeding.
It is, isn't it?
Because those famous paintings are like the
already
most successful
famous.
viruses, and there are already millions of those images on the internet. Why are you making another image to upload to the internet?
Yeah, they're like, if you want, maybe a better analogy is like your man. It's like the meme that Richard Dawkins talks about.
Yeah, that's what a meme is, right?
Yeah,
It's just spreading, and
yeah.
we went to the MoMA where they have the Starry Night by Picasso, and you can't get close to it because there's so many people just like that.
It's mad, isn't it?
And like the other thing is, I was that cunt guy who's standing at the side, like taking a photo of the crowd.
Take
like,
a picture of me,
this is so fucking funny. Like, this is the commentary. And then after I'd done it, I was like, man, I'm such a loser. And in the photo, you can see a girl looking at me like, come on, dude.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. But
don't be that.
It was just weird for me, like, first, then walk away.
Look deep into it, Tom. Appreciate it. Take it in. Do you know what I'm saying, my friend?
I don't think you and me would fit very well in an art gallery. Do you like an art gallery?
I'm a man for an art gallery the odd time. I would be no stranger to an art gallery. Every now and again.
Okay.
If it's the right kind of art.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck that means. I just said it. No, I to be fair, I wander about the gallery. I don't like poncy fucking, sort of wanky art. I mean, nobody likes that art that's up its own arse, and do you know what I'm saying? But I can appreciate a lovely piece of art for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I know I may look like a fucking, like a backstreet savage.
Yeah.
But in this heart, there beats the heart of a poet. Sometimes.
Okay.
But also the heart of a fucking maniac.
Yeah. I was just trying to imagine like an art gallery where you come from just a cave with like cave paintings. Sorry.
Bastard.
I got you good.
There's colonialism back on the pod.
Yeah.
Huh? Jesus.
Well, if I'm an example of English superiority, then there's a big fucking problem with English superiority, isn't there?
But yeah, no, like I love wandering about. I particularly enjoy, like, I don't know why, but I get a bit of a kick out of medieval art.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, but some of it. There's one day I went in the medieval gallery, and I don't know. I was just in a very giddy mood.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the pictures are genuinely hilarious, like the little figures, the little
do you mean like medieval paintings before they figured out the concept of perspective and scale?
Kind of like
so you get like guys standing behind the city walls who are as tall as the city walls and stuff,
or like a baby that looks like 70 years old. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, what I quite enjoy those.
The best medieval art, and arguably the best form of art, is medieval pictures of exotic animals painted by people who've never seen that exotic animal, have only read about it.
I've heard about this.
Incredible.
Wow, yeah.
Like, just like they'll draw a lion, but they'll only be told like, well, it's got like a big frilly bit, and it's kind of like cat shaped, and it will have like a human face because they just haven't bothered to know that.
Yeah. It's got like a 45-year-old plumber's
kind of things like that, or like elephants that are just horses with long nose.
Wild, isn't it? Yeah, I do enjoy that. Little hidden faces and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, no, listen, Tom. Come on. We're patrons of the arts.
Well, maybe we'll go to an art gallery.
We should go to an art gallery.
And we'll record it.
For the pod?
Yeah.
Woo! We're cooking. We're cooking with ideas.
What have we got here? Brooklyn is exactly what you'd expect it to be. That's kind of obvious, I think.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Imagine Brooklyn. Imagine the kind of people who move to Brooklyn.
I don't fucking know.
It's just super hipster.
Okay. That kind of thing. Like Shoreditch sort of style or what?
Yeah, like on speed.
All right, okay. All right.
American food is lembas bread.
Oh, lembas bread of Lord of the Rings fame.
Yeah. Like, it fucking fills you up so much.
I imagine the portion sizes are ridiculous.
Ridiculous, but the weirdest thing is about an hour after you eat it, you're hungry again.
Oh, the low-cal lifestyle has probably taken a drastic turn.
Well, I think I lost a lot of weight by being ill. I haven't really eaten anything for the past week.
The sickness as well, you see, kicks in.
A final one, gentrification. I've worked it out.
Oof. You've got the answer to the problem.
Yes. So what gentrification is, it's like when you make a stock.
Okay.
You put all the food in the water and you boil it.
Yes.
And you reduce it until only the strongest and purest of flavors remain.
Okay.
And in society,
yes,
what is the strongest and purest of flavors?
Oof, I mean, Tom.
It's brunch, artisanal coffee, and craft beer.
How did I not think of that? Yeah.
So the reality is, when someone gets gentrified, they're all just becoming the same places. Brunch,
Eggs Benedict,
eggs,
mm.
heavy flavor.
Eggs Benny.
What else have I got here? I've got craft ales.
You've got some stuff down there, my friend.
Artisanal coffee, I said that. And organic secondhand clothes markets.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's big around this area.
Yeah, because it's getting gentrified around here.
It's definitely getting
and eventually
gentrified.
What happens is the entire world will be gentrified, and you will just move from artisanal craft beer bar
to
brunch,
artisanal.
Buy some secondhand clothes, perk yourself up with a rare coffee.
Yes.
And then go back to the craft beer bar, and you'd be able to just do that on a continuous high street all the way around the globe.
Yeah.
And just keep going and going and going.
With a wee orange beanie on.
Little orange beanie, yeah, glasses you don't need.
That's it.
Pushing a baby in one of those weird little sarong.
Pass the cheese, please.
I've written these when I was ill, and I thought they were funny. I don't know.
Apple turns gay.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to make a social commentary about the COVID pandemic. Harry Potter and the Terrible Exchange, school exchange with American school shooting, Muggle police unable to help, shooter eventually takes his own life, use memory wiping charms to deal with PTSD.
Well, yeah, there's a thing, like, definitely that's something that I'm sure in the wizarding world, it would have been utilized.
Yeah.
The old memory wipe. When you think about it, there's some real dark corridors you could go down in the magical world. You know, in the Harry Potter world.
What just happens. That's why everyone's so. Do you reckon they just memory wipe themselves to forget that poor people exist?
I'm telling you, man. I bet you there's some subreddits with like alternative Harry Potter.
Oh, there must be
fan fiction, but like
alternative Harry Potter headcanons. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You know,
I wrote here Japanese Lord Voldemort, and I don't know why it took me so long to think of that, and I'm surprised no one else has thought of that, because that's just like round wheels, isn't it? Like,
oh dear,
the guy who came up with the idea of taking the square wheels and making them round, like, look how they roll so well. Like, Japanese Lord Voldemort is a great idea. Then I've wrote Harry Potter and the Invisible Pedophile.
Oh, you're not going to do it? He was thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
You were going to do it, Tom. But you're too fucking scared.
Harry Potter. Hang on. Let me think how it is. Harry Potter. The boy who rivered us.
That's about all we're getting away with.
Harry Potter and the Invisible Pedophile. And this is like after the original series, when the children go to school, and Albus Potter, Harry Potter's son, steals his dad's invisibility cloak.
Oh dear.
And starts sneaking around the girls' dormitories.
Of course he does.
And it's like a big scandal. There's lots of credible allegations of things he's done, but you don't actually read any of them. You just hear about it through other characters.
It's all just kind of like circumstantial evidence.
But because it's Harry Potter's son, there's a big hush up, and it's like a big scandal at the ministry because it comes out, and it's like...
Do they have super injunctions in the magical world? I imagine they do.
We could put that in there.
You know, he gets a super injunction. The Minister of Magic can't talk. Nobody. The Daily Prophet can only use innuendo to talk about it.
Yeah, that would be a real head scratcher, because he did defeat the Dark Lord, but also his sons are wronging.
Songs are wronging, mate. Yeah. I mean,
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I mean, the Sorting Hat did want to put him in Slytherin. I will say that.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
The sorting, Japanese sorting hat. That's another one. Not going to do that one though. Harry Potter and the Generation of Z. Absolutely nothing happens in this book. The children go to Hogsmeade and upload 200 photos to Instagram and then go home.
Oh.
Fortnite tournaments in Gryffindor Common Room.
Oh, we have Gen Z listeners, man.
Oh, do we?
You just threw shade at Gen Z. You are in for it now, Tom. They are coming for you.
Hagrid sent to Azkaban for misgendering a student. Lavender Brown is in a relationship with a centaur. Ron drops out of Hogwarts to become a DJ.
Yeah.
That's the generation of Z.
Yeah, man. I don't know so much about Ron, but definitely the guy who played him, Rupert Grint.
Yeah.
He's given me sort of uh grimy enough flat, but like lots of people doing lots of illicit substances
Yeah.
at about 3 a.m, DJing in a living room vibes.
He
Do you know
bought
what I mean?
he bought an ice cream van, didn't he, when he retired?
Did he?
Seems like the type.
Seems like okay. Let's not go down that.
Well,
road.
no, not that type.
Oh,
but
right,
like,
okay.
Yeah, seems like a
Yeah,
like
but
someone who also wants to be a
offbeat,
DJ
like
would
he'll
do.
like
Yeah.
pop up somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Seemed like a nice fella though.
Oh yeah. I think he'd be the one out of all of them I'd want to hang around with the most.
He would be probably the most relatable, down to earth.
Yeah, of the actors.
Yeah,
Character-wise, Malfoy.
I think your man Radcliffe. I think Radcliffe comes across all right, but I bet he's a wee bit touched, like.
Yeah.
Isn't he? He can't help but be a wee bit
Well,
touched,
there's that thing where
you know?
he like came out. He's like, yeah, I've got like severe alcohol problems.
I mean, the poor prick, like, yeah.
He came out in his mid-20s saying he had alcohol problems. They're like, what do you mean? He's like, I drink like a bottle of wine a night.
Yeah.
And they was like, no, that's called getting into middle age. Like, you're meant to do that.
Yeah. I don't know if you're meant to do that.
Well, you're not meant to, but I know plenty of people who drink like 2
yeah.
or 3, and then they wake up and drive to work with their kids in the back of the car. Like,
it's more common than people realize.
Yeah, it's not alcoholism.
Yes.
The last one I've got. Oh, yeah, go on.
Sorry, man. I'm just gonna say something. I watched a documentary recently about child stars and what it, like, the aftermath and what it can. Man,
Can't be good for
it
you,
is
no.
rough. Like,
Yeah.
it is not easy for. Obviously, you get loads of money, wealth, and all this, but like, it's a fucking tight handling.
Yeah,
you know?
I reckon they don't even get half the money.
Exactly. People are out to swindle them left, right, and center. There's all like it started off like showing this tiny girl that got super big in Hollywood in like the 1920s, 1930s. Like, she's just this tiny little thing, and like fucking skimming her money.
Yeah.
Fucking the family over, and that became the sort of norm for a lot of child stars.
The geezer from Drake and Josh, like one of the main guys, either Drake or Josh. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
He was on a podcast recently. I saw a clip of it, and he was like, "Yeah, but so the guy is like a writer in Hollywood, and he wrote for Drake and Josh once, so he had his contact details, and he got this kid on, and they were talking about money, and he's like, yeah, everyone thinks you get a lot of money, but not as much as you think." And the writer said, "But you must still be getting residuals from Drake and Josh." And the guy was like, "Oh, no, Drake and Josh, no one gets residuals from it because it was on the Disney Channel, so it's for kids." And the writer turned around and went, "I'm still getting residuals for Drake and Josh."
Oh, God.
And the guy was like, "What?"
I know, mate.
Like realizing live on air and got fucked over.
So much hoodwinkery.
Yeah.
I would say.
Just buggered him.
But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, yeah, the last one is called Harry Potter and the Illimitable Agony of Childhood. And the only one I wrote down is every time Harry casts a spell, he projectile vomits a stream of steaming hot arterial blood from an ulcer in his throat.
Jesus, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's got like a psychological problem that makes him do that.
I'm not knocking your list. There's some things that there's a smattering of genius in that list. There's also some fucking unhinged.
It's very obvious I wrote it when I was in a fever.
You were like, fucking hitting the fever, boy.
Quite feverish then. Mm-hmm. But they were really making me laugh when I was writing them down. Yeah,
man. Do you know what? I don't know why, but alternative Harry Potter stuff really makes me laugh too.
It is funny. Yeah.
It's hilarious to think. I think it's because it's such a, it's kind of innocent, sweet, and it's fun to think of it in different ways. Anyway,
when I was 14, I read like an alternative Harry Potter book.
Okay.
And there was it made me laugh so much when I was 14. There was a spell where if you needed a shit, you could cast the spell at a muggle and all of your shit would be moved into their bowel. But if they needed a shit as well, it would just be added on top. People would just cast the spell and they just take huge shits. And that made me laugh a lot.
You've got a beautiful mind, my friend.
Are we going to do questions?
You're like that Russell Crowe fella in that movie. Is it Russell Crowe? A Beautiful Mind?
Yeah.
That fella?
About the autistic mathematician.
Yeah. You're like him. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Listeners' contributions.
Let me check the time first and work out how we're doing.
Okay. So we've had listener contributions that have sort of stacked up because we put the word out that we were going to record a podcast. Then I got COVID. And then a whole bunch of fucking shit happened. And we did. This is us recording now. So Now, what do we have here? We have. Okay, that's just someone saying. Boys are back in town. Okay. All right, here we go. So the first one is from our good friend Ray.
Excellent.
Beautiful man.
Lovely.
He says, reincarnation, best/worst case scenario. So, what to be reincarnated? What's the best case scenario? And what's the worst case scenario, Tom? Take it away.
Well, I'm guessing he's asking about animals and like different things you could be reincarnated as, but straight away, when you say worst case scenario, I think, what if reincarnation is real, but it doesn't take the movement of the planets into account? So
Okay.
you get reincarnated where you die.
Yes.
In space. So
fucking hell, Jimmy.
Dumb dog. Well, that's the worst case scenario for reincarnation. You get stuck as that dog.
Poor old Jim.
No, you get reincarnated as like yourself, but in the middle of outer space because the planets kept moving around the sun and left you
But
behind.
how are you going to survive out there?
Well, you don't. You freeze and die and fall into the sun.
Oh, fuck yeah, that would be shit.
So fucking annoying. And it keeps happening. That would be the worst thing. What if you get reincarnated in yourself, but your body's rotting away?
Or you're like a parasite inside yourself. You're conscious of it.
Or whatever eats you.
Oh, fuck.
That's what Tibetans believe. They do sky burials where they just chuck your body on top of a mountain. You get eaten by eagles.
And you could become an eagle.
That would be.
Now, listen,
that's the coolest.
That's a cool one. Yeah. I've often thought about that. Like, imagine being an eagle.
Yeah.
Graceful, powerful. The Lord of all you survey. King of the mountain. That would be pretty cool.
Hang on, my dog is licking my computer.
Come on now, Jimmy.
Jimmy, don't lick the computer.
You've had enough.
Keeps doing. Look, she's turned it on now. One day she's going to log on.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't know if he's putting the restraint that it has to be an animal. Do you know?
Okay. What would you be like? A mountain, a river?
Oh, I like that.
Tree.
Yeah, you could, that would be a real. That would be a real kind of answer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe trees have thoughts, but they're just really slow. So every day is like a
Treebeard out of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. Every day is like a Sunday. Because
Okay.
you're just like,
Jesus. Fucking hell. What about this for a question? What about a time period to be born into, Tom? If you could choose the time period. Are you be born in like similar form that you are now? But 5'8", blonde-haired man.
Hey.
Sorry.
Massive.
I couldn't resist. So 6 foot tall.
Yes.
Blonde man, but you're born. You can't be in this time zone. You got to be in a different time zone, Tom. Where are you going?
I genuinely think probably now is the best time, just because.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Not dying, but if I had to pick another one apart from this, like the height of power in Rome, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's kind of similar to now.
I could see you in a toga.
I'd be one of the ones who walked around naked. Oh, that was Greece, wasn't it?
It's Greece, yeah.
Okay, so Greece. So I think probably they were quite like hygienic.
Oh, you would have been.
You
would have been passed around, baby boy. You would have been hot property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the statues would be of me.
Yeah.
I don't know, like nowhere in the last 1,000 years, I think, was any good.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Old Kingdom of Egypt, maybe, but that was so far back, you don't know what it was actually like.
Yeah.
It's cool to be a pharaoh.
It's very difficult to say. Maybe the old swinging 60s, maybe, yeah. Swinging about the place. Maybe not. A lot of hippies.
And you might not have done so well in the 60s.
I don't think I would have done so well. No. I wouldn't have been. I don't know. I wouldn't have done so well.
Yeah.
You're right. I think. Where could you put me? You could maybe put me like 1600s job.
I think in
a monastery.
Yeah, but you'd be bored. Come to Greece with me. I mean, you just get completely sunburned.
I know. Could you imagine me in Greece, in ancient Greece? I'd be like a weird sort of like thing that people will come to see. Come see the weird red man.
just digging up ancient pottery from Greece these days. Like they all have this motif, like a smaller, redder Spartan who's leading the charge. But he's going in the wrong direction.
Oh, Jesus. He's drinking all the Urzo. Huh? Not an Urzo on site.
I don't know if the Spartans invented Ouzo.
Ah, fuck. Anyway, listen. We hope we've suitably addressed your
I
question.
don't remember the question, but I think we answered it.
No.